Welcome into the lounge presented by DraftKings. I'm Garrett Downing. I'm here with Cassie Cherigo. We are so excited today to be joined by Kyle Hamilton, fresh off signing a new contract. So, Kyle, let's start here. My favorite reaction to your contract extension had to be from your mom on Twitter, who said, "My college dropout got a raise at his seasonal job."
Yeah, I didn't see she actually tweeted that. She says that all the time, though. She's always talking to me about getting my degree, so I need to check that box. But yeah, she's happy for me.
Now, you started on that process, right?
I did.
So there's still a little bit more to go?
I have like 3 classes left.
And I'm sure your mom reminds you of that often, it sounds like?
Yeah. The further you get away, the harder it is to actually go back and do it. But I need to show my kids that having your degree is important. So at some point before kids exist, I need to get that.
There you go.
Spoken like someone who went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't graduate, though.
Yeah, that's true. Just took a few classes there.
Yeah.
So what's it been like, man, getting this contract signed? Now the dust has settled a little bit, but you signed this contract. It's obviously something that was well deserved by you. But what does this contract extension mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one just shows how much faith the Ravens and the organization has in me, and I've said it before, but just appreciate them for drafting me and developing me, and it's now I feel like I'm forever associated with the Ravens, and that's until my football career is over, until my life's over. I feel like that's gonna be kind of a bond there, and no, it's awesome, but it's kind of weird. I don't feel that much different. It's cool like having that security, but everybody's like, what is like the first thing you're gonna buy and all that stuff, and I really have no clue. So maybe I'll just save it.
It's not a bad answer.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting when you were talking about your presser, like right after the extension, was like just kind of enjoying seeing what the process looked like from your standpoint. And you talked about like seeing the back and forth. So were you like literally reading emails back and forth? Like
No, yeah, I literally felt like I was like at a desk job, like firing emails back and forth to EDC and Nick, and obviously it wasn't me like actually writing the emails, but my agents would call me before they sent them, and we'd read them together, and I'd provide my insight and like what I felt was good, what I felt wasn't necessary, and I get emails from the Ravens, and it was really cool just to see that whole process, and something that I was a little interested in, just like how it went. And I know some guys aren't involved really at all, and I wasn't super hands-on, like I wasn't talking to Nick and EDC directly, but being involved with it kind of, it's like you're raising a baby a little bit, and then you get to the point where you actually sign. It's like I had a part in this. So a minuscule part, my agents did a lot of work, but it was cool to still see the whole process.
Well, clearly you had a big part because it's all about what you've done here.
Okay, yeah,
but
when you put it that way, yes.
But you said there's like some humor in there. So how is like their humor in a contract negotiation?
Yeah, so my agent, I mean, this isn't like divulging information, but one of my agents, Brian Murphy, is from Boston. EDC is from the Boston area. So there was some back and forth about some random Boston suburbs and stuff like that. There was almost like a theme to it, which was like poems or quotes. And it was very like Edgar Allan Poe-ish. I don't know if he was actually used, but it would almost be like a header page and like preface the email with this quote or poem. And it was like, if you appreciate good writing and appreciate people putting effort into an email, then you would appreciate those emails. So I appreciate both those things, and it was cool just to see that.
That's cool. Some guys are like, I don't want any part of it. My agent deals with it. Like, let me know when the deal is done. This is what I want. But like, why did you want to be part of it? Just because you thought it'd be interesting to see the process play out? Like, why were you involved in it?
Yeah,
it was important.
It's a unique situation to be in, and I think when you see contracts and you see numbers, and that's very prevalent in our profession, you kind of have an outside-in perspective on it, and I feel like that gave me more knowledge on like how these things actually go down and how you get to a number, and from both sides, whether arguments and how it goes, and no hard feelings at all. I mean, both sides have to do a job, and so I was more so reading it just from a third-party perspective, even though I'm literally the most probably prominent party in the two-party
you keep
back and
removing
forth.
yourself from the situation.
Yeah, but no, that's literally what I was doing. I was reading, like, if I was just looking at Kyle Hamilton's contract or negotiation from an outside viewing perspective, like, how would I just view this? So I wasn't emotionally attached to it really at all, and just kind of looking at it from more of a educational perspective, maybe like a little academia, but no, it was really cool, and to say like I understood why each part of the language and stuff like that I've had to get explained a little bit by my agents. Obviously, they went to school for that stuff, but it was cool to like just see the whole process. Just kind of nosy, honestly.
So even though he hasn't finished at Notre Dame, he's still working. He's still learning.
Yeah,
so
you can always take something from somewhere. So
you talked a little bit about the process of the contract, not just the actual negotiation process, but basically getting to this point. Like you're 3 years in the NFL, and to me, like I go back to when the Ravens drafted you. Still can't believe you were there for the Ravens when they drafted you. So like when you sign a deal like this, do you think about that process, and like as you think about this whole journey, what is it that stands out the most to you?
That's a good question. I think you obviously recollect and just look back on everything that you've been through to get to this point. I mean, it's a kind of a culmination of all the hard work that other people have put into me and that I put in to get to this point. But I don't know if there's specifically one moment that I think about, but it's more so just all around what I've done to get here, and it's cool to reap the benefits. And again, I'm super appreciative. But I think going back to me not being, I don't know, a little bland about it, like it's something that I always expected for myself, and I don't want to sound conceited when I say that, but like I always expect the highest out of what I do, and that's in anything. And parents raised me to think like that. So if you're going to do anything, do it to the best of your abilities. And when I first realized like I want to go to the NFL, I probably told myself I want to be all pro, want to be Pro Bowl, want to be highest paid, all this and that, and look back on it and be happy about what I did. And so when it does come to actually be like real and happen, it's kind of cool. But at the same time, it's like, this is what I expected for myself. And still got more work to do. So I'm kind of just looking forward and glad to have checked that box.
Mm-hmm. Kind of on the same thing about your journey from when you came here. Now you are kind of one of the guys of like this organization. You're one of the faces of this franchise at this point because of what you've done here. But like from a leadership standpoint, how have you kind of been able to step into that role from the guy who walked in here as a rookie to now being one of like the faces of the franchise?
Yeah, and it's kind of weird you say that. It's kind of happened really fast. But I mean, there were some ups and downs there for a second, and but I always take the good with the bad and have a short memory and never get too high, never get too low. So I felt like it was easy for me to kind of move on and from bad plays, from good plays, and just kind of be the same me. And I think as a leader, that's a good thing. You're kind of somebody people look to in times of stress and times of joy, and it happens kind of naturally as our DB room gets younger, and I'm obviously getting older. I'm not old. Maybe I feel a little old sometimes, but it just happens naturally. Like drafting Malachi, like it's obviously on me to kind of help him out. And I've been through it at the same time. First round safety, and there's different expectations here than other places. So just kind of on that front, giving him my 2 cents, and that's with everybody in the room. And whether that's play calls or just life as a Raven, as a first round pick, or as an undrafted guy, you can help in a lot of different ways, and I feel like I've tried to do a good job of that.
Do you think when you look at beyond just the Ravens, but the league as a whole, college, even high school to a degree, do you think that you are changing the safety position at all?
No.
You're a pretty humble guy, because I think you are. I'll just answer that in part. I think that you, like, I went to the combine this year, and every player, Malachi included, was like, I model my game after Kyle Hamilton. I look what he does, the versatility, like all of those things. Like every safety, it seemed like, was talking about that. They look at your tape, all that stuff. So like I can see you kind of playing the modest card, but I think that like there's an element that teams and players are looking at the way that you play the game and wanting to emulate that to a certain degree.
Yeah, I think anytime it's kind of like, the game's kind of shifted to tight ends or pass catchers now, and you kind of need somebody to combat that. So if you have a taller safety or a taller nickel that you can play inside, then it'll help you. They can blitz, they can do all this other stuff. And I'm sure there's been people before to do that, mm-hmm. but it's cool to obviously be looked up to in that sense, and have people kind of emulate their game after bits of mine. And I did the same thing with a bunch of people. So it's just natural way that things go. But I don't know if I want to be the one to say I'm revolutionizing it, but I think Mike McDonald did a great job of kind of finding a place for me to fit in my rookie and my second year and getting creative with that. And allowing me to kind of grow into my role as a safety or as a nickel, and bringing me along, being hard on me. And I think Zio's done a great job as well, just expanding on that, and all the coaches around him, and just letting me be myself and not trying to put a, what do they say, square block into a circle.
Peg round hole.
Yep, that.
There you go.
Didn't graduate. So, but yeah, I think it's been a culmination of just smart people around the game just helping me out, trying to figure out what I'm best at, and it's worked. So it's been good.
Do you think the fit piece is really important? Like it I don't want to say it was that hard of an idea in the sense of like you were a great player coming out in the draft, but like for every player that comes to the NFL, part of it is fit and like coaches finding the right way to use you. And like there's good players that go places and it's a bad situation and for whatever reason it doesn't pan out. So do you think that like the fit and the willingness for Mike and the defensive coaches, your rookie and second year, to like shift things around was part of what allowed you to have the success that you did?
Yeah, for sure. I think especially in the sport, there's people who are OCs or DCs that just think my system is the best system ever and you're going to conform to this. And, you know, they're not ultimately the people drafting. So, like, if you're GM like somebody, then you're going to have to figure out a way for him to get on the field. So, I think the Ravens have done a great job of that, just philosophically from the top. Harv's is kind of a beacon of that, just put guys where they'll excel. You know, it's not about X's and O's, it's about Jimmy and Joe's. So if you can get people in the right spots and make plays, then let them do that. And everything doesn't have to conform to a playbook. So that's something every coach here has preached, and, you know, they've put that out on the field. Like Marlon's moved around a ton, and last year, like B. Steve would go play dime and Trey White would play corner. And it's just like, it makes us super deep. Just talking secondary, but like guys up front too will go play on the edge, and we'll have different packages, and it just gives the offense different looks.
Speaking of the secondary and the coaching, you've obviously been working with Chuck now for a few months. He's coached a lot of football, but has said that this is one of the most talented groups that he's ever worked with. Like, how do you kind of see this secondary as a whole?
Yeah, I think I don't really think we understand what we have in the room right now until like we get on the field and we start making plays and stuff like that. Which is a good thing, I think. You know, we're all approaching this season like we have done nothing, and you know I feel like that's how you have to approach every season. And guys are really humbled in the room. It's a really tight group and really different group, and a bunch of like ranges of people. Like Malachi is engaged and just coming out of college, and then Marlon Jair, and it's cool.
Word,
yeah, right. It's cool just to see everybody gel together. And but on that note, that talent, like you still have to go out there and produce with it. And I'm sure Chuck would say the same thing. Like you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not working hard or you're not playing well together, it doesn't really matter. So I think we're looking forward to getting out there and putting it on tape.
You mentioned Jair, and he kind of came in at kind of a weird time, like right before you guys went on that like big break. How have you seen him kind of be able to integrate himself like into y'all's position group?
Yeah, I remember the first day he was here, he was on a visit, and I saw him, and I was like joking around about him signing. And then he signed, and then he came to practice, and it was like he had been in the room for 3 years. Like I've never seen somebody so outgoing and making everybody feel warm around him. And he gets all awkwardness out of the room quickly. And I think it's really good to have. And obviously he's a really good player too. So on top of that, it's just a good guy to have around.
You used a different word. I think you've used eccentric maybe for him and Marlon. I feel like weird could kind of be in the mix there too, in the most respectful way possible.
If they didn't have money, they'd be weird, but since they do have money, they're eccentric.
Which one is more eccentric, weird?
I think Marlon's more annoying. I think, and that's like in the most delicate way I could put it. It's like he's like a middle child who just like needs attention. That's just who he is, and he gains it. And but I'd say Jair is a little more eccentric. He just has some different trains of thought where you're like, I don't know how you got to that conclusion that that's a good thought, but you know I think it's kind of a trend in the league playing cornerback. You got to be a weird individual just to kind of psych yourself out. Good play, bad play, and you know you got to have a short memory and you got to have a creative mind, and those two are probably two most creative minds in the league at any position, honestly.
The DB room is always the biggest personalities on the team.
Yeah,
I feel like
for
that's
sure.
that's consistent.
Yeah.
Every single year. I saw Marlon posted on Instagram that he gave you a break on buying his condo, and so is he trying to get some money back?
No, yeah, I told him I'm renting it from him, just trying to see how downtown life is.
Is lease about to go up?
Lease is already signed, so he's stuck.
Right.
Yeah, he's stuck in the lease. Lease is signed. I signed like a week later,
Okay.
so I got a good deal on it.
Good, smart man.
But I'm doing him a favor. Nobody was renting that condo.
He took it off his hands for him.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like going back to the DB room, you mentioned Malachi a couple of times, and like he's a serious guy, like, and he's super smart, and he's come in and seemed to step in really well, basically been a starter from the time that he arrived here. And you talked this offseason about how you felt like he's further along than you were as a rookie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just curious how it's going in terms of building that chemistry with him and why you feel like he's even further along than you were at this time.
Yeah, I think just mentally, he's probably one of the best rookies I've seen. I've only been in the league 4 years now, but including myself, like just grasping things after seeing it one time or messing up something once and it never happens again. Like that's really rare, especially at the safety position. You have to be so vocal and you have to know a lot of stuff. And that's something I struggled with my rookie year, and it seemed like he just came in. It was kind of seamless. I was a little jealous of it, honestly. He came in and was just like, yeah, I'm starting. I know all the calls, all the stuff. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing out here. And I told him that. I was like, you're so far ahead of probably 99% of safeties to get drafted in this league, like at the time that you're at. And I said it earlier, like he's going to have to grow up quick, but like he's already done it. And I'm excited for him going to the season. I think he's going to make a ton of plays.
He told us this offseason, we were talking about the versatility and you guys can both do so many different things. And he was like, I'm just going to let Kyle kind of pick what he wants to do, and then I'll do the opposite.
No, I think it's as a safety tandem, like you kind of, somebody like maybe you like rolled your ankle with one play and you're supposed to go do something, like, yo, can you go do this for me? So like he'll go take the hard down and I'll go do whatever. And I'll do the same for him. And I think that's something that just as time comes, you kind of understand what you guys want to do at a certain point in the game. And he's always willing to ask questions, not even to me, but like coaches, and never a bad question for him. And he's always just willing to learn. So he's kind of like a sponge just with knowledge right now. He's doing a good job.
Right.
It's week 1, obviously. Buffalo on Sunday. What was your thought when the schedule came out and you saw that was first up?
I thought I feel like it was something that we wanted. And, you know, I feel like we obviously didn't get the result that we wanted last year. And there's a lot of plays we left on the table there. And, you know, you get the chance to right your wrongs. And there's no excuses now coming back. And, you know, they were the last team we played. We got film on them. We played them twice last year. So now it's like, it's not snowing. It's not cold. Just go out there and play football. So you have no excuses now. I think we're ready for the challenge.
Is there any, like, obviously it's week 1 and you're excited, everyone's kind of fired up already. Is there any like extra juice with it being like a primetime game, or not really in the first week?
Not really. I honestly, me personally, I don't like waiting around the hotel room all day, because you're kind of like just watching other teams play and you're like, I wish that was me. And now you're just waiting all day, and you know, especially on the road, getting home late. I feel like we're kind of at the point, because we've been focusing on all camp, like we just want to get out there and play. And Coach Harbs always talks about peaking too early, which I have trouble with, because I'll wake up on Sunday and we have an 8:20 game, and I'm like, it's 8:20 and I have 12 hours till I play. So I think that just kind of shows. I feel like everybody kind of feels that way. We just want to get out there and play, and we're excited.
It's interesting hearing you talk about just kind of the mindset of the team. Like, I just feel like this is a mature team. It's obviously, everyone knows what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Like, that's obvious. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's not too much talk about it. Like, there seems to be this focus on, like, the here and now and not peaking too soon and all those things. So, like, the mindset of the team seems to be in a really good place. Do you get that same sense?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what's understood doesn't have to be said kind of thing. And if you ask everybody on the team, like, what's our goal for the season, they're going to say,
right, Super Bowl.
All right. And so now everybody in the building thinks that. And, you know, we don't need to come in here and be like, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. I think that's something that we struggled with last year. And then we came out to a slow start. We're like, you can't win a Super Bowl if you don't win these games in the beginning, middle, and end of the season. So I think that's something we focus on, like just take it 1 week at a time. And everybody's willing to do that and not looking too far ahead, because now the past 2 years, it seemed like we had that kind of mindset and it hasn't worked out for us. So it's like, all right, well, let's just focus on 1 week at a time and really emphasize that. And I think the coaches, everybody's done a good job of that.
We talked a lot about your contract. We obviously talked about the season, but the other big life change for you was you got engaged recently. Like,
I did.
Does that kind of hit you at any point that like there's all these like crazy big things happening in your life like around the same time? Like, are you able to kind of like take a step back and like enjoy all of that at once?
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at that, honestly. My fiance Reese, she always gets not mad, but she's like annoyed when I'm like I have no reaction to big events. And like when I got drafted, somebody sent it to me this offseason, like my draft call when EDC called me. I was like, yeah, thanks for drafting me. Appreciate it. And dudes in there like bawling, crying and stuff. I don't know if something wrong with me or not, but just not super emotional. And she's like, are you happy about your contract? I'm like, yeah, like, am I really happy about it? Like, it's good. She's like, I don't understand how you're not like bouncing off the walls. But no, she's a good girl. And we got engaged over in France and surprised her with her friends. It actually went a lot better than I thought it would. And it was kind of perfect. So got a lot of life events going on now. So hopefully after it's all done, I could just sit back and chill. Well,
the not being like too high, too low probably helps in the field, not so much in the reactions to the big life moments.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty bad about that. She was like, "Are you gonna cry on her wedding day?" And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe I don't know."
You just gotta say yes. You just say yes.
Oh, I don't want to be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna cry."
You're going to.
You're definitely not.
I don't want to be like, "Yeah, I am," and then she's like walking down the aisle, and I'm like trying to muster up a tear.
You just have to make your face look emotional.
Okay.
That's like what everyone looks for at the wedding. They always look at the groom to see like what his face looks like when you're married. Like you know this. Sure. Like when the bride's walking down the aisle, you have to look emotional. The tear is like.
You don't gotta go waterworks, just a little bit, a little dusty, a little cut in the onions.
Just a little dab of the eye. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I am emotional. I just don't show my emotions, if that makes sense.
Internalize it.
Yes, that's what she says.
You internalize
That's
it.
what she says right there.
All right, I can see that. You honestly kind of play like that too, because like you're not like an outwardly like showy guy on the field. You don't do a lot of celebrations. Like, is that a conscious thing? Is it just kind of how you are?
That's just kind of how I've always been, honestly. And I think it's because I treat it like a job, like it's like a 9 to 5. Like I'm out here to do my job and
your seasonal job as your mom.
Yeah,
your seasonal
job that the Ravens employed me for. Thank you, but yeah, it's like a play to play life, and I'm out here trying to do my job, and I feel like I'm trying to exert all my energy between the snaps so I can do it to the best of my abilities.
I just like when you do the too small celebration.
Yeah, I don't really know where that stuff comes from, honestly. That might be like a subconscious. That's me showing my emotion.
Yeah, okay.
And I feel like we've heard of some zingers, like maybe a little bit of trash talk.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm not like 20 years from now, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, Hamilton was a huge trash talker." It'd be like, didn't say anything probably, but I'll leave that to whoever we don't really have any trash talkers on the team. Actually, Jair.
Jair's gonna trash talk.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see him trash talk. Maybe I'll try to take a little bit from him.
Yeah, that's good.
Does the contract extension help in the wedding budget situation?
You know what? Naturally it does.
So we can worry a little bit less about the crying on the wedding day.
Maybe I'll cry at the venue because it'll be so nice, so pretty. We do need to plan on that. We're both procrastinators, so we need to either get a wedding planner or just decide quickly, which probably is going to happen. So I told her like I planned the engagement, and it was a lot of planning on my part. Just pat on the back, and I was like, you got to like strong arm this wedding. Like this is your wedding.
You're passing the baton. Basically.
I'm passing the baton. I was like, I don't care about the flower colors. I kind of just want people I want there, and then where it is. That's two big things, and golf nearby.
All right,
naturally.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Engagement, wedding on the way, big contract done. Season is here. You're in a good spot.
I don't know what's next. Yeah, we're on a roll right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Fired up for you and glad to be continuing to work with you for a long time. So this is well-deserved, like we said, and can't wait to see what this team have in store this year.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Welcome back to the lounge. We're coming to you from the SeatGeek studio. We also want to mention our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. They are an official sports betting partner of the Baltimore Ravens. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Well, thanks to Kyle for joining us. Always love sitting down with him. I think fans and listeners just get a sense of kind of who he is. Obviously, a cerebral player, great player, and his personality shined through as well. So just enjoyed the conversation with him, and I can't wait to see what he does this year.
He's a really easy person to work for. Just a great dude for us to work with on a daily basis here at the facility. Obviously a great player on the field. And just one of those people who, like, it's always felt like Kyle was a Raven and, like, what should always be here long term. So it's great when you have that young talent and you are able to retain it here.
Yeah, he said, I went back and looked at this when he got drafted. He said, I fell to the right team. And I think that, like, that was definitely true. And I think when the Ravens went through this process of, like, deciding on the contract, it's like, all right, this guy's an all-pro player. He's a leader of the defense. He's great off the field. Like, let's just get the thing done. What are we waiting for? We know Kyle Hamilton is someone we want here for a long time. So, like, let's just get the deal done and, like, not complicate it. Don't wait. Get him the contract, and everybody's happy. And I think it's a win-win across the board.
Yeah, it's a layup. And, I mean, he even talked about, like, both sides wanted it to be fair to either side. Like, they want to do the right thing for the organization, and so it's a no-brainer to get that done.
Yeah, so obviously the focus this week now is going to turn to the Buffalo Bills. We're just a few days away from that game. We've all been talking about it and anticipating it, and it's exciting. And like I said to him, like the mindset and like the attitude going into the game, like it just seems to me like the team is in a really good place in terms of how they're approaching that, not just this game, but the season as a whole. And like, yeah, we're all going to talk about like they're going back to the place where last season ended. Like, no doubt that like that's part of the story of this team. But I just feel like this team is like in a really good headspace entering the season.
I feel like we've seen a really good vibe like throughout camp. This feels like a team that's really like gelled together across the board. And I did think it was interesting today, like hearing from John Harbaugh, Nnamdi Madubuike, Ronnie Stanley, that they all feel comfortable like owning that the way that last season ended is motivation. Like there's no way to shy away from that at this point. We all know that they had the sour taste in their mouth like in the off season. And so like they've owned that that is motivational going into the season because they do want to right the wrongs, that they've watched the film, they've seen the mistakes that were made, the things that they want to correct going into this game. And it's so important in the NFL to get out to a hot start. This team knows that. Last season they weren't able to, and so I think that's a big piece of it too, not just who the opponent is, but like knowing if they want to accomplish what they want to accomplish this season, like these first couple games are so important.
I feel like Kyle, he even said it early in the offseason when he talked about like, look, we all know where we want to go, and just part of the conversation we had with him, like, yes, there's an awareness of that, but like we got to take care of business in the regular season in every game, every week. You can't look past things because like then you can find yourself in a situation where you hurt your playoff seeding or you're on the road when you could have been at home, like all that stuff. And like it all matters. Everything matters. And I think that like that's what I like about this team's approach going into the season. Like they really are taking the attitude and the mindset that like everything is important. And every game, every practice, every meeting, like it's all important. And I think it's going to serve them well this year.
I mean, we even saw in the offseason program, just like how the attendance throughout the offseason, throughout camp, like, so they've done the little things all year long to prepare for this moment, and now they're just ready to start having the actual games.
Yeah, we can't wait. Sunday, primetime game, Sunday night, 8:20 p.m., Ravens-Bills on NBC. So we're going to continue breaking that thing down over the course of this week. As always, you can email us at the lounge at ravens.nfl.net. Cassie, thank you so much for filling in for Ryan.
Of course, anytime.
Today. And I'd love to hear from you guys, the listeners. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will be back with you again soon.